Hey, what's up, good people? FH Nimpo back on another one. So today we're going to be addressing one of the issues people had. So you'll see, first of all, before we get into anything, we already know I got Robin, but I logged into my Twitter because I know some people might not want Robin. Apparently, yeah, that's the sentiment. Some people just, want to feel like they have options and want to see sort of like what else they can get besides Robin. That's what this video is for. Right, so today we're going to be looking at all the 5. Well, we'll just look at all of them, might as well. All right, I mean, let's listen. You want to be pulling for a 5-star if you that crazy person is like, whoa man, you like to start the game on hard mode. Yeah, we'll talk about the 4 stars. If you that other crazy person who just likes, when they kill you, your loot drops, we'll also review the 3 stars for you. All right, so let's start from the 3 stars, move our way up, and then see what's actually good and what's actually bad. The results may surprise you because maybe Robin is not number 1. Who knows? Let's see. So first, no, I'm not going to be drawing anything, but we might do a draw at the end just to see what we get. But let's go through the video. Let's start with Amy. So when we're looking at Amy, she places a banner on one selected grid. The closer Amy is to the banner, the higher her defense, right? So this increases up to like 100%, and the banner disappears when touched by an enemy. It regenerates the team's HP by 3 times Amy's defense. Granted, her defense scaling is pretty low. She's only 3 stars, but I mean she is still pretty useful, especially for things like boss battles. 100% she's still going to be useful with regards to that. So now let's look at where we would rank her. Right, she basically heals and has like a defense buff. Let's do A tier for now because she's the only one we've read. Let's go ahead and check out the next one, Clover. So with Clover, she deals 200% damage to enemies in a cross shape, and then basically to the maximum range. This is the same skill a lot of the higher up units have. So the only difference is her damage multiplier, which isn't even that bad. 200% is still pretty good. The problem is her low base stats. That's the main issue. She has 2 rounds on her cooldown, right? And the thing is here is when using her chain combo, she deals an extra like 70% damage for the first enemy hit and inflicts 1 stack of poison that lasts for 2 rounds. I'm not entirely sure how the poison mechanic works, but we're gonna also see another character who has a poison mechanic in this exact same tier list. So the way she is basically she's gonna be doing damage and debuffing the opponent. So looking at that, considering that her damage multiplier is also not the worst, we're looking at, say, Clover A, but like above Amy. So she's A tier above Amy, right? However, Amy is more useful long term in the sense that you can't actually use Clover as a damage dealer, but we'll come back and refresh on that one. Then what we have next is, all right, so Tiny One converts 1 traversable grid to a red grid, to a red prism grid, and then what she does then is after using an active skill, Tiny One's normal attack damage is increased by 50% for the rest of the round. That's what she does. But again, she's a 3-star, lower base values, not the best. She has a 2-round cooldown on her active skill, not the worst either. So in fact, let's do this because I have no need here. I don't want to be coming back 1,000,001 times. So Clover ahead. Let's do that. Yeah, that looks much better. And let's go on to the next one. The next one we would have Peppy. So Peppy moves to any grid within 1 circle around the unit, right? The big part about Peppy is that she has a 0 cooldown on her active skill. So immediately when the round starts, you can just move to a more favorable spot. amazing. That's actually really cool, right? And then basically what she does is then she gets stacks called Peppy marks, and then the movement range of the active skill becomes the number of circles around the unit equal to the stacks of the mark. So the only thing you need to know about Peppy is that she can teleport from one point to another point. She has a passive, but let's be real, I mean, she's a 3-star unit. She will be useful, but that's just to getting you, like, moving you around the map, right? So you could use her later on in a supporting role, but that's just for repositioning purposes for fire mono teams, right? So when you're looking at Peppy and her repositioningness, she's an A tier. She's an A tier. The fact that she repositions, she'll be more useful than Amy, more consistently so. While Amy will be useful, but we're looking at she's useful maybe during hard boss stages and things like that, where things are getting really technical. While Amy, you can kind of just use her whenever and get a better vantage point, including these hard stages where they have mechanics where you need to escape and things like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. I want to try to push these kind of moving faster, like, you know, just get these through, but I don't want to rush it too much. You can just play the video at 1.2 times or 1.5 times speed or something like that. We have Eho. So Eho is an interesting one, right? Eho she teleports just like who's this, Peppy, but Eho teleports to any grid within 2 surrounding circles around the unit, right? And after using the movement skill, Eho gains 40% increased normal attack damage and chained combo damage for the round. So not only does she reposition you, but she'll also be able to do quite a little bit of damage, right? Eho is one of those where you're probably going to use her for a long time until you get a 5-star character who can teleport and reposition you. She's one of those in your mono thunder teams. You're going to be using her a lot, similar to Peppy. But Peppy, you're likely going to get a teleporting character faster. But both of them are similar in the sense that they reposition you, except that Eho allows you to do more in terms of that you can get that damage out at least, right? Even though her multipliers are low and all of that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, you know, she still does a lot. And the other character who actually does what Peppy does, not what Peppy, what Eho does, is a much higher rarity character. I won't get into that now because I will be releasing more tier lists and things like that as the game gets closer. But then yeah, so she is pretty good actually. All right, she's one you might want to consider if you actually want to go straight into a lightning team. Not bad, but there's a better option if you want to go straight to a lightning team because you're gonna get Eho anyway. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. All right, so Eho, we want to place her. Eho, we want to place her above, actually just below Peppy, just because Eho's cooldown is 1 round, right? While Peppy's is 0. Peppy is 0. So, you know, let's respect the cooldown at least, you know. And then let's see. The next one we have is Unimed. Okay, so Unimed is an interesting one, right? So she throws a can at any selected tile and changing the tile to a yellow tile. And then she spawns an attack or defense buff. And this is randomly generated. Again, this is insane, right? The skill itself is not bad because she can change the tile on the field, right? And with a 1 round cooldown. So that's actually pretty good for the lightning team as well. The only problem is that the defense side is not as good, and you can just use Eho and you get more damage out of it, right? Because the stats are all low anyway. So when there are no enemies within the chain combo range, it recovers the team's HP equal to 150% of Unimed's attack. This means absolutely nothing because her stats, her base attributes are super low. So yeah, not the best. So she's definitely below. She's better than Amy, but below Eho. So if you're gonna use, so she's actually trash or meh. It's the win, man. So here's the thing, she's better than Amy, yes, but because she's from the same thunder family as Eho, there's really no need to use her unless you don't have Eho. You'll use her in a little bit, but again, you're not leveling any of these characters when you get them, right? Maybe Eho you'll put some investments into her because you could use her long term, but Unimed, you kind of just get her, throw her in for 2 seconds, and then when you get Eho, you swap them out. So anyway, the next one is Kogon. So essentially what Kogon does is he deals 210% damage to 16 grids in an asterisk shape and knocks enemies back. 210% is a really good multiplier. The only problem is his base attributes are super low. All right, so that's the problem. Not super low, but they're low. They're 3-star low. All right, with a 2-round cooldown. Now it increases chain combos by 40% when he does this, so he's a pretty good damage dealer for the water mono teams early on when you don't have too many guys. Don't invest too much into him. He is pretty cool. He will get the job done though. All right, so let's go ahead and rank him. Let's put him where he needs to be. So Kogan, he'll do what he needs to do. You know, he's not long term. He won't last long term. Because of that, we're gonna put him here at the B tier. Right, so yeah, so the reason he's the highest, so he's stronger than Clover and Tiny One, is because he has a knockback on his kit. So you could see yourself using him beyond just one fight here and there. You could kind of use him to reposition people, things like that, you know. And the fact that you have 16 grids that you can use to attack is pretty good. It's pretty good, right? So, but you wouldn't want to truly invest in him. There's a lot of good water units, so but he's there for you if you want to give it a shot, you know. And then what we have there, the next one is White Dwarf. Well, his name is actually Leah.
No, it's not.
Unless they change it to White Dwarf.
No.
His name is Leah. So what we have for him is that he essentially records the current location. So it basically takes a stamp of where he is. The unit returns to that recorded location after causing the Aurorian chain combo. So after you fully combo and everything, you return back to the recorded space. Right, and then after a chain combo hits, you reduce the target's attack by 5%. Not bad, not great. Right, not bad, not great. You know, it's one of those things where Leah is water. It's not great, not bad. So we'll put him on. Let's see. He's okay. He's okay. You could use him. I could see some use for him, but he's just okay. Right? So there's nothing to really say about that. And then you have Ofina. So Ofina is one of those weird ones, right? So she changes the elements attributes or like between 2 grids, but you can choose which 2. Right, so she basically swaps their attributes with each other, right? This could be useful, and then she basically chain combos have 100% chance of inflicting 1 stack of poison for 2 rounds, right? So every time she chain combos, so that's one of her uses. So, but all of this again is maxed out passive, so you're actually putting in resources. Mind you, let me just clarify, a lot of these that I'm reading out and kind of giving it to you guys, if you're maxing them out, when you get them, they're not going to be as good as what I'm saying right now. So, and I don't suggest putting any resources into the 3 stars. That's the other problem. But Ofina is one of those, when she is maxed out, you could get a little bit of use for her. She is kind of good actually, and you could use the switch, the changing elements and switching the attributes quite a lot, especially if you don't have good tile converters and things like that. Listen, she's going to be absolutely key for you there. Well, not key, but you know, you'll find good use out of her. I would say longevity's purposes, let's put her here. She's behind Amy just because These other ones, you can kind of use them without really investing too much into them. But Ofina, you kind of need to put in a little bit of resource, right? You need to put in some resources for her to be like, to really realize that true potential, you know what I mean? And then we have, yeah, no, listen, we're moving to the 4 stars. So on the 4 stars, Uria, let's go. So Uria recovers the team's HP by 60% of her own max HP, and then if there's excess healing, the nearest green grid is converted to an enhanced grid. This is really good. So when you're at full HP and you are healing, the nearest green grid is converted into an enhanced grid. This is good. What an enhanced grid is like you get a grid that's just on steroids, you step on it, and then it creates more colors of that same color in the line, in the direction that you are facing. I think it's about 2 to 3 blocks worth of extra of new blocks created. So when you create one enhanced grid, it's similar to almost creating around 3 or 4 grids, normal grids, and you can choose which direction you go into that. So it's quite interesting. And then she also recovers HP equal to 100% of her defense when passing through these enhanced grids, right? So she is really good, right? You could actually keep using her for a long time, because in any case you would need to invest into her to really realize quite a bit of the potential she has. The other thing about 4 stars though is you don't want to go too heavy on these guys, because they don't get a second attribute. The thing about 5 stars in this game is that they'll get second attributes, right? So they'll get second attributes where if somebody's fire, they can get like water as well or something like that, you know what I mean? So if there's fire, they can get another attribute, which is another fire. But again, some of them can get multiple attributes that are not the same as the one they came with. 4 stars don't get that. All right, so with Uria, we've spoken about that, and let's rank her. Let's rank her. So Uria, there we go. Uria is S. She's a S star healer in this particular format. Yeah, she's S. Listen, out of what's available, she's definitely an S. Again, I have to reiterate, this is a tier list for what's available now on these events polls. As soon as you include the entire portfolio of what's in the game, listen, these guys fall all the way down here sometimes, you know, if it's not like all the way in here, you know what I mean? Uria though, she probably doesn't fall too far down, but like when you add these other guys and the other, listen, it really goes it really goes deep. Hey, so anyway, let's see, we have Uria in there already, and then let's do Patty and Patsy. Nothing much to say here, honestly. So these guys just hit, they have 180% damage multiplier, and then they hit 13 grids, like in a diamond type of shape, right? Then you can select. So they have the same mechanic as Robin does in terms of like you can select, and they hit 13 in a diamond while Robin hits 9, but then their multiplier is like 180, so it's like they have 2-round cooldown. And then the passive is actually they unleash one additional chain at combo at the beginning of the line, and then this deals like 100% normal damage, and then it increases the damage by 100% where the initial and actual combo overlap, right? So because there's a combo at the beginning of the line, and then there's a combo at the end of the line, and the way they overlap is, you know, the additional damage. I think we'll probably pop up some gameplay footage of that some way, right? We have, and then let's go ahead and rank her. They fall damage, they decent damage, it's not bad. Let's do this. High A tier. Good. Decent enough damage. Fairly good. damage multiplier low, so yeah, that's all it can get. And then we're looking at who's next. Chandra is next. So Chandra is, yeah, so she basically deals, again, her multiplier is low, so it's about 150% multiplier damage to an enemy on one selected grid. Not the greatest on her active, right? And then her passive is just like a bunch of gibberish. And listen, like, honestly, when it comes down to it, it basically increases like her her chain combo damage. And then she, like, the whole idea is that if she kills an enemy, she can reset her active, right? Her active, again, is literally only attacking one person. Her damage multiplier is low. Yeah, listen, that's all we need to know about Chandra. So Chandra, I'm tempted to just leave her in trash, honestly, because here's the thing: her damage multiplier is so low that she won't kill anybody and she'll never get the reset. Even if she does kill people, it's only in the early stages of the game. Later on, I mean, like, unless you fully pimp her out, she still won't be doing like the most, you know what I mean? So nah, it's stay clear of her. And then we have Nadine. Nadine is actually pretty good. Let's just put it that way. So Nadine places one lantern that exists for 2 rounds. While that lantern is active, right, the grid is locked to yellow, right? So then the lantern recovers the team's HP by 150% attack whenever the team passes through it, because that grid is locked, right? Now, while the lantern exists, it unleashes a light that illuminates one surrounding circle at the end of each round, dealing 120% attack damage, and has a 20% chance to inflict blind on enemies for 1 round. Right? So she could be very useful, and she is very useful in a few scenarios. She's a good support to just have, you know, use her every now and again. Locking a tile to a specific color could be useful, that type of thing. So she's not bad. So for her, yeah, I mean, she's not bad, but I mean, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do that. Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, she's not bad, but at the same time, I don't see her being as useful as Eho for people who don't have the teleport, and Pepe, actually. And, well, most people won't be using Pip. Actually, it's fine. We said we're gonna respect the cooldown, so yeah, let's respect the cooldown. So that's where Nadine falls in. Pretty good, not the worst. I mean, she's good, but you know, there's better. And then we have Jane, the Witness of Omberton. Jane, again, low damage multiplier, so she has 150% attack damage to the enemy with the lowest HP, so like assassin type. Not so much like the best assassin, because I mean, that's a really low damage multiplier, but when an active skill deals damage, increases the final damage by 10% for every 6% HP the enemy has lost. This passive is really good, right? So this is one of those passives where the lower HP the enemy gets, the more damage Jane will do, right? So she's sort of like a sniper. So even with the low damage multiplier, the lower HP they are, she could snipe with the right amount of stats in her books. All right, so for Jane, let's actually put Jane in the S tier. It's looking lonely in there, so let's put Jane in the S tier. Now, is she better than Patty and Patsy? Debatable. All right, because Pat and Patsy will give you more damage overall to like more people. But Jane just gives you a mechanic that allows you to fight against high HP opponents and do more damage the lower HP they get. It's pretty good. Patsy will probably, you know, fizzle out with these high HP opponents is the issue. Right, let's go ahead and jump to Kuma and Pengi. So with Kuma and Pengi, basically they deal 250% attack damage to 9 grids. It's like a square centered, so it's the same attack pattern as Robin has again, right? And actually the damage multiplier is much closer to Robin's. So Kuma and Pengi deal 250% attack damage to 9 grids in a square shaped center. So in a square shape, centered on one square, so you can select the square, it hits, done. The 250% multiplier is pretty good. And then you have basically his passive, which increases the team's max HP by 20%. This is good. This guy's good. Like, simple, but it's good. He's one of those, if you need more HP, you're gonna grab him. He's definitely S tier. I would say he's above Jane. The reason for that is because Jane, yes, but she's only useful against like high HP opponents, while Kuma could just make you extra tanky while he's doing decent damage. So even if you invested in him a little bit, you'd still get some returns out of him. All right. And then, oh man, we're about to get to the good parts. Get into the good parts. There we go. Robin. So we're gonna start with Robin and then kind of go down the list just like we did with everybody else. So here's the thing. Robin does 260% damage to 13 tiles, right? Not 9, 13. So it starts off as 9. Once you've fully upgraded her, it's 13. That's the thing with Kuma and Pengi, it doesn't start off as 9 either. That's it maxed out. We're talking about things that's maxed out, so we're comparing everybody's maxed out versions to each other, right? So Robin, we have, she deals 260% damage, right, which is only 10% damage more damage than Kuma is doing, but she has higher stats, so that's the difference. To 13 tiles in a diamond shape, right, surrounding one tile, so you can select it, and then it converts one enemy tile to an enhanced tile. And we just spoke about enhanced tile. Her passive says it increases all deployed members damage against enemies occupying green grids, so it's just a buff. So knowing that, and the fact that so what Jane is actually what's called, Jane is like a hybrid of damage dealer into a tile convert type of character, right? In this case, that's, I mean, like, let's think about that, right? She does damage to 13 tiles in a diamond shape, right? And she gets to select that area, but beyond that, she converts one enemy tile to an enhanced tile. So moving in any particular direction, she can create more space for herself. So you pair her up with somebody who basically creates more tiles. Come on. And on top of that, when she hits like anybody who's on green tiles, she gets more damage. Like, come on. Now, here's the thing. Now we're gonna move to OD, right? Now, or 0D. Is it 0D? I'm not sure. What she does. Now here's the thing. What she does is she deals 400% damage to all enemies and inflicts slow for 2 rounds and 2 stacks of poison for 2 rounds again. Like that is insane. This she basically says, what? Oh, there was a game about strategy? Well, I'm not playing that. Right? She is insane. Right? Normal attacks can attack enemies on a diagonal grid and have a 70% chance of inflicting 1 stack of poison again for 2 rounds. That's her passive. So she's a poison machine, and then she'll be able to attack in all directions right? So she can attack in all directions, because normally what happens is when a character is not facing the other character directly, you can't actually attack them. But with her, you could literally, if you had a bunch of squares around a single unit, you could literally walk in a direct circle and she'll attack at every single point of that circle. Very good. She's very good. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Yeah, something like that, right? I'm not even gonna mention it. That it is what it is. She's so strong. With the damage multiply, she's so strong. She's so strong when you really put some effort into her. And then on top of that, the debuffs on the poison. Jeez, man, come on. And yeah, well, the party's over. Back at Noah. So yeah, Noah. I kind of just want to throw him here, but for the purposes of the fact that he's up against a bunch of 4 stars and 3 stars, like, we can't really disrespect the man like that. So we'll do this. It's okay, we'll just do that. All right, so yeah, Noah. So what does Noah do exactly? So basically, Noah gains 10% of his max HP as a shield, up to 200% for every blue grid on the field, right? For 1 round only though, right? Using an active skill increases Noah's defense by 50% for 1 round. So he just got more shields, he got more defense, all right? He's tanky, all right, cool. And then what else? Right, okay. When the shield disappears, converts 30% of the remaining HP. 30% of the remaining shield to HP. This increases Noah's defense by 50% if a shield already exists. Listen, man. First of all, you're the only person shielding. So you shield yourself and you keep shielding yourself and you're not doing any damage. Listen, early game, damage is the name of the game. Listen, you can't start the game out with a defense character. Yes, you're defensive, but you're just gonna die very slowly, very painfully over a long period of time. Listen, don't even do it. You know what? No. For the purposes of the pre-registration event of what's available and what you're gonna start with, hell no, right? Unless, let's just keep him here. He sucks anyway. Unless you're planning on just getting him and then going straight for a blue team. Maybe it's plausible. Probably. But nah, I wouldn't recommend that. What I would recommend though is Vivian. Yo, Vivian is crazy, man. So Vivian is also like one of those hybrids where she's kind of doing damage, but she's also converting tiles. What she does is she deals 320% damage to all enemies. Dude, similar to what Odi was doing, right? But then converts 1 enemy tile to yellow. All Thunder Aurorians chain combo triggering costs -1 for the round. That is insane, right? It has a 3-round cooldown versus the 4 rounds that Odi had, which explains the damage decrease. But the fact that she also buffs, right? So whenever chain combos deal damage to all enemies, Water, Thunder, and Illumina Aurorians, so the faction, gain 6% of Vivian's attack as attack bonus for 2 rounds. Listen, she is an absolute monster. Vivian is an absolute monster, and in terms of pure utility in this particular list, 100% she is what's happening. Yeah, so she is 100% overload status. In fact, let's increase her border. Let's do that. Vivian is so good, especially if you take Vivian and then run straight into a full Thunder team. Jeez, man, like that's insane. That is crazy. Here's the thing though, you can get Vivian in game. That's all I'm saying. You can get her as soon as the game starts. You just get her. She's not free by any means, but it's possible to pull her. If you want to do some rerolls, if there's a guest account, you could pull Vivian. That's the thing. Or OD. You know what I mean? Let's do the last one and then I'll finish up the rant quickly. Not rant, but finish up the video. Leona. What are we looking at with Leona? Leona is one of those... You know what Leona is? Leona is Vice. If you guys have seen any videos of the game, she's the fire version of Vice. That's it. That's it. Slightly worse, but she adds debuffs, so she's not that bad. But she's the fire version of Vice. Actually pretty beginner friendly when you think about it that way. Alright, so basically what Leona does is she deals 90% damage to 90% damage 6 times to random enemies on the field. Launches 1 additional attack for each fire tile within 12 adjacent tiles. This is her maxed out, right? That's the exact same thing Vice does. Right now, her passive states normal attacks have 50% chance to trigger 1 red dragon attack that deals damage equal to 50% of Leona's normal attack and inflicts 1 stack of burning for 2 rounds. So she's adding a debuff, she's doing a little bit extra damage. The most important thing about her is that you put her as your captain, you move around anywhere on the map and she'll attack without you understanding what you're actually doing. She'll attack and clear the stage. That's it. Right? Because other characters, you have to understand their range, you kind of have to get into the right position, and like you have to play around, think about what you're going to do the next round, think about, okay, where do they do the most damage, that kind of thing. Can they even get their combo off? Not Leona, not Vice. You kind of just move and they attack. It is what it is. And when you put her as captain, she attacks no matter what block you put her on. So, you know. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's good. Is she user friendly? Sure. I'd say S, honestly. Let's go ahead and move these guys out the way. Let's do that. Let's do an S. Yeah. That's how I would kind of go about this, right? Yes, is Robin the strongest, best pick here? Well, no. Is she the strongest pick here? No. However, though, let's consider something. Robin is Forest. OD is Forest. Vivian is Thunder. So OD, there'll be ways to get her in game, and on top of that, unless you're running, I mean, honestly, she could carry you throughout the entire early game. I don't want to lie. Like the fact that you just stand in one place and ignore everything and just say what strategy? I'm just pressing this button and I'm gonna hit you 400 for 400%. Assuming you level her up, it's gonna be less than that initially, but it should still be enough to kind of clear a major part of the game. As long as you're cool not having Robin for the first 6 months of the game. That's the thing. Robin is good. Let's not get it twisted. Let's come back to this tier list quickly. Robin is good, right? She's the only one out of all of them here who creates an enhanced tile outside of Uriah, who's a support. But Robin does damage and then creates enhanced tiles, and again, anybody in this game who's gonna be able to change the color of a tile is insane, is really strong, and can be used for multiple purposes. They're gonna be very strong, right? Or at least very viable for a long time. Putting resources into Robin, listen, You're gonna always get the benefits out of that 100% of the time, especially because green teams can be so OP. But thunder teams are also OP, but green teams can be OP. Actually, a lot of teams can be OP, but listen, it's up to you though. Vivian is good, Odie is good, Robin is good. But if you don't have FOMO, if you know you're not gonna have FOMO, Odie is AoE. She's the biggest AoE here, right? She's like, she's well-rounded. She's the best investment. Although she is AoE and she does all kinds of great stuff, there's heavier hitting AoEs in the game. But she will do the work. She will do the work for AoE for a long time, honestly. Vivian is just versatile. So she's just amazing. Almost in every count, you want to have her in any lightning team, in any thunder team. Realistically, she's just really good. Leona, she's okay. She's okay. She'll carry you through the majority of the story. She'll do what she needs to do. She's not gonna do anything fancy, nothing crazy, but she don't get him or her. It's not a female. Don't get her. You could, but don't. But you could. It's up to you. All right. It's been a long ass video, I think. Yes, see, let me just check. Man, it's been a long video. It's almost been 50 minutes. This is a long one. I'll see. Well, it's 50 minutes on the recording time. After I edit and do all of that good stuff, I'll see sort of what's left. I don't think I have 50 minutes worth of footage, but I mean, if we're kind of just going in between this and that, we should be good. In any case, it was awesome having you guys. Pleasure. And yeah, see you guys next time. Oh, and by the way, I am working on, like, as you can see here on the side, I am working on bigger tier lists and sort of like reroll guides and what you want to do for the game launch and all of that stuff. This stuff is like, a pain, you know what I mean? So, you know, show some love and yeah, maybe smash the like button for a brother, you know what I mean? Yeah, just, yeah, this stuff is a pain. This stuff, yeah, you know what? Like, you know, give me some motivation. Anyway, that's it from my side. See you guys on the next one.